So welcome and thank you everyone for the second virtual session from our Blockchain Blazers group. This one is titled Rise of the Metaverse. So I'm going to start sharing my screen. And while I'm doing that, how many of you, type in the chat if you want, or unmute yourself, how many of you have had an experience in the Metaverse already?
I did.
Good stuff, Kinga. Which particular Metaverse was that?
It was, well, most of all, I like Decentraland, and I've tried voxels as well.
Very cool. Very cool. Is that a thumbs up, Kashi, that you've actually had to go at the Metaverse?
Yeah, the Decentraland.
Excellent. Okay, right. Let me start sharing my screen. Can everyone see that?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, let's get cracking. So for those of you who do not know me, my name is Tiffany. I am a solution architect, BA, and community leader here for Blockchain Blazers. And on today's agenda, we will be talking about, but I'll give you a quick introduction to Blockchain Blazers itself. After that, we'll go into the evolution of Web 1.0 to Web 3.0, which I think that's a quite good place to start off. And then we'll start talking about the metaverse. What is it? Who is it for? How does it work? The use cases, and why should you care? Followed by that, we'll have questions, and everyone's favorite part, it's POAP time. So for those registered attendees, you will be gifted a proof of attendance token, second in the series. Okay, let's get started.
Cool.
So aim of this group, to collaborate, educate, empower, and share knowledge about the Salesforce NFT cloud and the world of blockchain Web3. Also, the aim is to grow into a global community of Salesforce NFT cloud experts, harness the power of the Salesforce NFT cloud, and deliver innovative projects to existing and new Salesforce customers. So just to bear in mind that the Salesforce NFT cloud is not yet in general release, so that's coming soon. Release date not yet confirmed, but don't think it'll be this side of the year, given that it's nearly the end of, well, it is the end of November. So probably be at some point next year. So fingers crossed, maybe it could be Q1, who knows? Okay, so let's talk about the evolution of the web. So the internet, been around a long time. So this little infograph, we're looking at the three stages. So Web 1.0, that was the read-only phase, and that started around 1990 to around 2005. So you can see on the first part of the diagram there, we had the,
and we did a refresh on that entire process.
sorry, could you repeat that? Okay.
No, sorry, it was by mistake. I got unmuted.
Okay. All right, no problem. That's fine. Okay, so Web 1, that was 1990 to 2005. We classify this as the information economy. So this was when the web was in read mode mostly. So what did we have at that time? Well, we certainly had Google. We had Yahoo. Remember the time when Yahoo emails were the end thing? eBay, AOL. I remember collecting magazines with AOL CDs so I could just renew my AOL access at that time. MSN Messenger. So, like I mentioned, the days of the read-only search engines, dial-up modems, if those of you who can remember that. You couldn't be on the phone and on the internet at the same time. That was a pain. I remember that clearly. We had HTML and JavaScript coding, your basic web pages, and localized internet access. And also during that time, in the year 2000, Salesforce had their product launch and the debut of the no software theme that they had. Okay, and moving on to Web 2, considered to be the platform economy. And this is where there was a slight shift from read to read and write. Circa 2005 to 2020, it was the rise of social media, mobile applications, cloud services, big data, as you see there. You can see all of those familiar icons that we use on a day-to-day basis: WhatsApp, Amazon, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Google, Twitter, or for those of you who are still using Twitter, depending, massive exodus recently, and came Uber, as well as TikTok. And this was a time as well where data has been monetized by corporations. So this is actually one of the key differences between Web 2 and Web 3, which I'll get to in a minute. But certainly the data has been monetized by corporations in marketing. We also had user-generated content. Web cameras were the big thing, still are in some ways. Mobile access. I mean, who would think we would access our mobile phone, the internet via our mobile phones? Global internet access. Wi-Fi routers, so the shift from dial-up modems to Wi-Fi routers. And then we move over to the Web 3 ownership economy, which really it's taken a shift from, I'd say, since 2020, the end of 2020, 2021 onwards, and it is until Web 4 comes, this is what's happening now. So the ownership economy is where there's read, write, and own. This is where we have the semantic web. And for those of you who are not familiar with the term semantic, so semantic web is a mesh of data that's associated in a way that can be easily analyzed or processed by machines or artificial intelligence. And a good example of semantic web is really when you use your search engine, whatever your favorite search engine is, and it brings back those rich text results. Also, Web 3.0, is interoperability in between systems, digital apps, etc. We have the blockchain, permission, and permissionless blockchain. The rise of dApps, decentralized apps, NFTs, tokenization, metaverse, of course, smart contracts, VR headsets. So that's a big one. Although virtual reality has been around for some time. I remember back in the, gosh, I think the early 2000s, going to my local arcade when I didn't have kids, playing around with one of the virtual reality games they had there at that time. So it has been around, but now this is the time where it's really going to, I hope, take off there. Augmented reality, artificial intelligence, and the data is now monetized by users. So you can see a few examples here. We've got cryptocurrency in there as well. You got your Bitcoin, your Ethereum. You've got your crypto exchanges, Binance, Kraken, Coinbase, blockchain, as I mentioned as well earlier, Polygon. You've got Cardano, Polkadot, Shibu, I believe that is, and or Dodge. Oh no, that's Shibu, I think. And this one's OpenSea, so the NFT marketplaces. Oh, and of course, Solana. Okay. Now, that leads us on to the metaverse. So what is it and who is it for? So shortly after, that chap Tim Berners-Lee that invented the web in '89, there was a sci-fi writer by the name of Neil Stephenson that released Snow Crash in 1992. I haven't read it. Has anyone read this novel? No? Okay, no problem. Or maybe I can't get to the chat on time. That's fine. Um, in this novel, and I haven't read it myself, he coined the term metaverse to describe a 3D virtual space. So in this novel, it's set in the early 21st century, which depicts quite a dismal future. This is where the world, the economy has crashed, and basically the federal governments have ceded the majority of their power to mega corporations. So the main character in the novel is a computer hacker, a pizza delivery man called Hero, who spends his entire time, well, when he's not hacking or delivering pizza, in the metaverse. So when he enters the metaverse, he's decked out with his avatar with some eyewear headphones, and he customizes his avatar in a digital world. Also, another way to look at the metaverse, it's a combination of interactions between the human, physical, and digital worlds. Basically, in my opinion, it's like the internet on steroids. It is for everyone, individuals and businesses, B2C or B2B. And science fiction is becoming science fact. So here's some snippets of some metaverses in here. We got Blocktopia, Decentraland, which is I think is the number one metaverse platform at the moment. Star Atlas, Sandbox, Axie Infinity, and there's a lot more coming up. The majority of these you have to use your digital wallet to be able to play. There are others that you don't need to, that you can just use your email. I've been tinkering around with Spatial just for simplicity, as I wasn't too sure on whether or not that metaverse would kind of work for me. So that's another one that all I had to do was just provide an email address. Okay. So we move on to how does it work and what can it do? I appreciate this is a very busy schematic here that actually depicts the digital world, the human world, and the physical world and the interactions between them. So I'll get back to this in a second, but I've got an example that I thought would probably make it a lot easier for those who probably need a little bit more info on the metaverse. So with combining the human, digital, and physical worlds, of course, we're opening doors to unlimited possibilities, but also unlimited interactions cross worlds. So here's an example. Susan, real life person, has an avatar in the popular metaverse Metapolis. So she uses a VR headset to get the best experience possible. Now she's in the process of redesigning her digital home, and she wants to change her wallpaper. So by having her avatar to touch the digital walls, she has the option to change the paper with a design she already has in her inventory, or purchase new wallpaper through a well-known supplier. In this example, Walls R Us. That supplies paper in both the digital and physical worlds. Now, the type of wallpaper she chooses is a limited edition phygital item. And phygital is just basically, it's a term that combines physical and digital type of asset or customer experience, which can be paid in either crypto, in this example, METAP, which is Metapolis's in-game currency or in-environment currency, or fiat. And we know fiat because that's your euros, your dollars, your yen, your pounds. And she can use this with her digital wallet. So the wallpaper itself is an NFT, which represents both the physical and the digital. So the physical twin is the utility. And during the purchasing process, she decides that she would like the same paper for her physical home. Her credentials are authenticated via the digital wallet. She chooses which method to pay, and upon the confirmation, the smart contract. So we covered this in the previous call in terms of smart contract, which is like your terms and conditions, and like very similar to Salesforce, you've got your logic, your workflow, etc. So the smart contract is automatically executed and the NFT is minted. So it's committed to the blockchain as a transaction. The digital version of her paper appears in her inventory, and the physical item is being prepared for dispatch to her home address. She is now the proud owner of this limited edition wallpaper, and she decides to use, or actually share, a digital snapshot to her friends via social media. And just for sharing this post, Walls Are Us airdrops a redeemable NFT entitling her to 20% off her next purchase. So that is just an example of how these worlds of the human, the physical, and the digital world can interact through the metaverse. So if we look at this chart here, we have quite a few touch points. So this would have been Susan in the human world. And of course, with the infrastructure of the metaverse, there's a lot of things that are going on in here. You know, she's got her communication. Of course, she's going to have to use broadband or Wi-Fi to connect to that metaverse. But then we've got the digital world here. She's signing into her Metaverse Metropolis, and you can see that's the metaverse engine kicking in here. She's got her VR glasses with the activity there. AI's in the background, rendering the scenes, translation if need be, some artificial intelligence. There's some modeling, simulation. When she's purchasing the NFT, we've got the smart contract that kicks in, consensus. She's utilizing the blockchain there. And you see that part with the blockchain smart contract. You know, that's connecting to virtual goods and services here too. So that's her digital version of her wallpaper. And also should be a physical one. Well, human world, let's just say her Walls Are Us also is in the digital world as well in the human world. The virtual service, her digital wallpaper is carried out in the digital world, and her physical wallpaper is being delivered to her in the human world. Mentioned she's got her avatar. We know about that, the virtual environments, and these are interconnected virtual worlds. So perhaps in Metropolis, there might be, and this is a fictional metaverse, mind you, there could be a link to another virtual world within Metropolis, which one can have their own digital life. You know, the gaming, the communication, the governance, contracts, wallets, events, lifestyle, etc. I thought this was a very useful schematic, and this is something I found on the internet. I wish I put it together, but I didn't, by Yuntao Wang, I believe. So, a survey on metaverse fundamentals, security, and privacy. Okay, so let's move on. Now we go into metaverse use cases. So I've got a few examples here, and I know that maybe some of you might have some examples you would like to discuss, maybe, or bring up or mention in the call. So let's go through these first. So this is a recent one with Accenture and Salesforce NFT Cloud. This is an immersive high fashion runway show. So straight from the words of Accenture, they are reimagining how we engage our clients using Web3 technology. And they're learning how we collaborate with clients in the future. So this is CRM enabled by intelligent data. No doubt they're going to have some analytics, some Genie, maybe some Einstein in the background. And it's a seamless purchase between digital and physical worlds. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play this video. Hopefully you can hear it, because I think it's probably easier as sometimes they say the picture is worth more 1,000 words. So let me just play this. Let me know if you can hear the audio. Is that coming through?
Not yet.
Okay, apologies that the audio didn't come over in the call, but this is something that yes, we can send you the link via email. Definitely, Scott, on that one. Another use case.
It looked
We
really
have-
cool. I was pretty excited to see it, but
Yeah, I was excited to share it, and then there's no audio. I'm like, no. So apologies for that one. I will send it, send the link in the group. But of course, Accenture, top consultancy, great minds there. Thanks, Jonathan, for sharing that. Appreciate it. Okay. And here's another one. Oh, not that one. Oop. Oh, geez, crazy mouse. Okay, I won't play this one. I mean, I can play it. There isn't any talking on this one. But this is another use case with Nike and, oh, how do we pronounce this? Ritfit or Ritkit or RTFKT. So this was the big Web3 luxury brand that Nike bought out some time ago. And they combined a campaign for kicks, which are digital shoes from both the brands. And now they've recently launched a new Web3 platform, Swoosh, on the Polygon blockchain. So this is where users can create, collaborate, trade virtual wearables and games and other digital experiences. I'll play that. There isn't any talking or anything in here, but it's cool graphics. Wow, that's super cool. And I believe that's in pilot at the moment. So those of you who are Nike fans, you can join up for that pilot. But that's pretty cool. So imagine you're creating, collaborating with others. You're creating your kicks, and you're able to put them on your avatar in a metaverse, perhaps, and trade them. I mean, that's a cool thing. Like to see more from them. That's a great combination. And another. I'll play again here. Okay, this is a recent one. No video on this one. Thanks again, Jonathan, for sharing that. Porsche or Porsche. So they recently unveiled in Miami the launch of their NFT campaign. So by choosing 3 core themes of the brand, users can influence their design in a collaborative and immersive journey. So you can see these are kind of like the three brands: performance, heritage, and lifestyle. I don't have a Porsche. It'd be cool if I did, but I don't, but that's okay. And from Lutz Mechke himself, who's the deputy chairman and member of the exec board of finance and IT in Porsche. So basically, I'm going to paraphrase this. So it's a project with additional element for their digitalization strategy. So they've made the commitment of long haul, and their Web3 team has the autonomy to develop innovations in this dimension as well. So Porsche sees potential in the purchasing experience, the metaverse, and the supply chain. And also they're considering vehicle and sustainability issues as well. So this is hot in the automotive industry. I'm pretty sure this will pave the way for other automotive companies to do the same. Now, one of the chaps that was working on this project, Diego Borgo. I don't know if any of you follow him, but he actually was a strategic Web3 strategic advisor for Salesforce, and part of their journey venturing into the Salesforce NFT cloud. So he's one of the big names in the Web3 space, and he's been involved in this super cool project here. Okay. These are just some other use cases that the metaverse could be used for. So we've got your e-learning aspect, immersive training, improvement on gamification, 3D visualization. So think about doctors, think about surgeons, how they could use VR glasses to learn about the particular topic that they're studying for. Maybe surgery on the heart, surgery on the brain, perhaps. Real estate, virtual modeling, property showcases, construction. Again, applying VR to that. Visiting a house in virtual reality. At the moment, for those who want a remote viewing, I think it's either someone goes around with a camera, or you've got that type of technology where you put the cursor in one room and you have to use these arrows to go back, forth, up and down, etc. Also, banking and finance, virtuality in banks, enhancing customer service, travel and tourism. Now that would be pretty cool, taking your VR headset and virtually taking a quick little journey to the country you want to travel to. That reminds me of an old film back in the day called Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know if many of you probably have seen that film, but that reminds me of Total Recall. Gaming, the experience, obviously enhanced reality, the play and earn at the same time, and how game assets can be transferred. Now, as you see, it applies to a lot of use cases. Does anybody have a use case that you would like to share with the group?
I did the one use case I can share, which I presented internally in our company, and it was very interesting that how Mastercard also ended up doing the same use case. Was Gen Z loyalty use case when for the financial services, when any new generation they come and they want to open an account, right, to a bank, instead of giving them that $550 rebate or $300 cash back or something like that, there could be, hey, if you open a checking account with us with minimum 250 balance, we'll give you choice to select 2 free NFTs, right? And that kind of drives the new Gen Z user to financial services institutions, right, the banks and others, and they still use their mobile banking app because that's the they go and they just use that one. If cloud being used in the past and community cloud is being used, which can actually do more of the commerce stuff. They select the NFT, they go and say, okay, I'm gonna have these two NFTs. As soon as they selected those, they get an email. Okay, those NFTs are mint on using Salesforce blockchain is mint, and they attach their wallet. As soon as they attach their wallet, because that's how they will receive the NFT. The information will get into Salesforce NFT cloud, and that's how they can keep the reward system for the Gen Z customer and keep them motivated. They can use those NFT to their Twitter profile, any other location, and all those.
Mhm. That's very interesting indeed. That's really good. You could see the benefit there for sure.
I saw
Thank
that.
you.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday. I think Salesforce was making a partnership with, I think it's Crown Royale. It's like a type of liquor. And I think it's kind of like the premise that you buy the NFT and then Crown Royale will make a deal that it gives a free bottle of the alcohol to somebody else that you specify. And I thought it was kind of cool because it was using Salesforce to mint the NFTs. I think that's one of their, kind of like trials that they're working on.
And just to be clear, when we say Salesforce to mint, probably the NFT still get mint on the blockchain, right?
Yeah.
The NFT will get mint. Salesforce might maybe facilitating like OpenSea. So OpenSea has been built on Heroku, which is one of Salesforce platform, right? So you kind of have more user and setting the attributes or having the flow to say, okay, now my NFT is ready with all those pictures. You upload the pictures and attributes and royalty, whatever the things that you want to set up, and then say mint. So it will still get either mint on the Ethereum blockchain or Polygon or Solana, whatever it is.
Indeed, and I heard about that, Scott, the Crown Royale campaign. I know it was on LinkedIn, and one of the chaps that's in the Web3 studio in Salesforce, I think Max Comparetto, he was involved in that project. And I think the back that is you can pass on or nominate someone to give to them the crown. And when they receive the crown or when you gift them the crown, then there's a certain type of perk that goes to the armed forces. I think the U.S. Armed Forces. I think maybe a care package or something that will benefit the U.S. military out there. I haven't looked at it in great deal, but again, that's a really good use case on NFTs on the NFT cloud platform, taking that NFT, gifting it to someone else, and then the utility behind it is once you gift it, then the third party, in this case, U.S. military, will receive some sort of benefit from that. So that's a good use case, and thank you for bringing that up and for sharing.
If I may, with another example of the metaverse.
Sure.
So I have actually, when you were discussing the Commerce Cloud and usage of the NFTs, one project that actually exists came up to my mind, which I find an example use case for the metaverse and what I believe will be the future of the metaverses on like the wider spread will be the general commerce and e-retail. So there is a project that creates online shopping malls in the form of a metaverse where there are brands that are purchasing basically areas in that shopping mall, like the physical one, just the one inside of the metaverse. And in there, when the customer comes, they can purchase, they have their own NFTs, they can purchase the products, they have their own, when they create within that metaverse, they create their own person, like the persona resembles their looks, their shapes, and this. So it's very good for the commerce because as a customer, you have like technically your version online. So if you want to go and purchase, for example, clothing, you can check in the metaverse how you will look in a certain fabric, in a certain size, and you can try those things on inside the metaverse. So you don't need to go to the physical store, which is most of the pain currently, especially before Christmas where everybody's going shopping. So instead of that, you just log into metaverse, you have your own persona in there, you go to the store, you virtually check the clothing that you like, and then you purchase it. And maybe there will be an option still in beta testing, I know, but there will be an option that you can wear the same product in the metaverse and in real life. So I think that's a perfect combination, especially for like the future of shopping, or like online shopping, instead of just browsing it online and not being sure if it will be the right fit, the size, how will it look. Just try it on and then you buy it straight away. No queuing, no problems whatsoever. I love the idea.
Gosh, yeah. Can you imagine that? That would eliminate queues and everything like that. I would hope, and it'd be interesting to know what the kind of recall process or the refund process would be on that. But that's a really good use case. That's super. Really good example there. Thanks for sharing, Kinga. Would anyone else like to contribute on a use case? Okay. No problem. I shall continue. Okay. So, why should you care? Why should we care? So, if we remember when the internet came out, well, I do here, telling my age. This is a clip it here from the Daily Mail back in 2000. Internet may be just a passing fad as millions give up on it. And in Norway, this is a chap here tweeted this, 1996, saying that the internet is a flop. And it looks like about 2-3 years later, the author upheld his claim, and he actually admitted that he'd been wrong. So there's always adverse media around everything. So we had that with the internet. And now we know 20 plus years later, it's still around and a fundamental part of human society. So regardless if you're a Gen X, Y, Z, or Silver Surfer, most of us are connected on a daily basis on the internet, the backbone of that, even if it's just WhatsApp. So I believe the metaverse will follow in its footsteps, even though it's early days yet. And what we see now may even evolve into something different. But not only will this present a unique experience for users and consumers, this will also provide businesses with greater insight to customer analytics and open the doors to new users through different channels of product placements. Actually, it should be to businesses through different channels of product placement. Apologies for the typo there. But we can see the capabilities here. There's a lot of things that still need to be taken in consideration in terms of security, in terms of governance. As I mentioned in one of the early, I think the first session, I touched briefly probably on governance and safety on the metaverse. People that I know have been bullied in the metaverse, believe it or not. So it's still, there's a lot of work to be done. And also it'd be good to see the metaverse really used for real life use cases and not necessarily for gaming, as a few of you have just raised good examples of that. Okay. So I'm just going to open the floor for any questions, comments, or anything else that anyone would like to bring up and share with others. I think the cat wants to ask a question. If that was a cat.
Yeah, it was a cat. My cat just walked in.
Oh, the Meowverse. Okay. All right. If no questions, then I'll move on.
We could
Oh.
chat about what you kind of alluded to, that
Sure.
I think seems to me we're like in the time of like what we had happen with the internet, that we're going to have to see where all this hype plays out. And I think that it will, but you're probably going to see some things actually kind of crash. Probably some of the blockchains will probably go away, and then we'll solidify into like a new reality of what will be the future. And I kind of see that's where Salesforce really has a place, because people really trust Salesforce and their core values.
Mhm.
So I think that's kind of interesting to see what's going to happen. I mean, here in the US, I mean, you're always seeing lately in the news that they're kind of crushing a little bit on the whole blockchain, and like, oh, it was a hype. People bought a lot of NFTs. They lost a lot of money. And I
Mhm.
think that that's probably something that you would expect to happen. You need like some real stabilizing forces to come and say, okay, we're actually going to stand behind these products like Salesforce, and you can count on your NFT being there.
Mm.
That's,
You're right, because with
is
things
anybody
like
experiencing
that.
something similar to that in Europe, or?
Well, from what I've seen, there's still hype and there's still speculation. Not many people um, think that blockchain or NFTs, crypto, are safe. They see it as scams, but others see it as, okay, this is interesting. Let's see where it goes. I mean, it's like that. It's kind of like that in the beginning with the internet, because no one was going to know how it was going to be going. Really, you also had and you still have some dark parts of the internet that are a bit dodgy and everything. But a lot of people have been scammed by the internet, not, you know, purchasing through an authentic site, but over time they learned perhaps to trust the little padlock in your URL, or they started to become a little bit more tech savvy to say, okay, where is this email really from? Is someone trying to scam me because this is new technology, and a lot of people probably don't understand it either. So I think you're right in terms of Salesforce, because when we're not familiar with a particular process or brand, we tend to go to the ones we're familiar with. Even like with food shopping, if a new supermarket opens up, you're like, okay, well, I'm not too sure whether or not I want to go there. You think, might be cheaper somewhere else, or now I'll just go back to my favorite one because I've got my loyalty card, you know. But no, that's interesting. What's everyone else's view on that?
I think right now people are really hesitant towards everything related to blockchains, to crypto. I think right now, well, firstly there was Terra, then was FTX, and right now they're predicting that Solana may collapse. So there's a lot of fear on the market. And I see some statistics that people are withdrawing their money from the wallets, and they basically there's so much fear and so much hate online that new user is really discouraged from staying on that market and staying in that area of interest. So I would say only the real hardcore users, or maybe the ones that've been there for some time, are still there. But the hype has really gone down since the time of the crypto winter, they say. And I think what will really bring the hype back will be going out of that season, and also finding the utility for all of the that's, I would say, implemented on the mass scale. Because currently, well, you can have Bitcoin, but where are you gonna pay with it? Like, or yeah, you can buy Matic, or, well, but you can use them only in metaverses, like purchase NFTs in there. But honestly, it's not widely in use. And I believe like the real hype will start when it will go back on that circle, on that wheel that will move it forward. Because right now people are just scared, and because of that there's the cycle of hate that's just going bigger and bigger, and people are more and more scared.
Yeah, good points. Good points there. And maybe it's to the point when the dust settles and everything, that people will probably gain more confidence. Maybe something needs to be, a really good use case needs to be launched, but not branded with the terminology of NFT, crypto, or blockchain, because then when anybody hears that, they're probably going to run a mile. But if you have a use case that is really adding value to a particular business issue, a pain point that people, are experiencing, and then they realize that this was addressed by blockchain, NFT, and crypto, maybe they might see it a different way.
So
But
I
at the
believe
moment, speculative.
In the project of Nike, I think the Nike, that the one you've presented, like Nike is using the word digital assets. They try to avoid the NFT wording. At least that's what I heard before. And I find it quite sad because like people should know like technology, and I think it's just like people are not aware. And I guess there is the point of the future when people will be using the NFTs without knowing it is an NFT, or they will be using different blockchains without knowing that the technology is based on blockchain. But right now, I think it would be good, like if people hear like, "Hey, those are actually NFTs, and this is a good, real project that's based on NFTs." Because right now there is so much bad buzz around it that would be good to have something that actually works and can promote that name.
Good point indeed. That's very good. Thank you.
I see that the businesses are still pushing ahead. I mean, I noticed that when I talk to various members of my community, they're a little bit skeptical, but I keep seeing that the businesses have already invested and they're launching their various NFT projects. For example, we just had in the Turkey Parade in New York, and you could get NFTs, to commemorate that. I mean, every day it seems like another business is testing it. I mean, as soon as we get someone like Taylor Swift that says, okay, all tickets for my concert are NFTs, then it will really just go mainstream. But
you're right.
It seems like we're in that dual reality, right? Where people are dogging it in some ways, but yet you see businesses doubling down. And it seems like it's accelerating, at least in the United States, in like the last 2 months that I see more projects. I'm not sure about in Europe whether you guys see as many like, I don't know, commemorative NFTs, or if there's any concert or anything that's using them.
I haven't seen any concerts with NFT, but I know that I think it was in LinkedIn. I forget what it was, but there was a music event that they're going to use POAP ticket gating or NFT ticket gating, e-gating. So don't know the details of that, but I saw that, and I think mostly people are trying to dip their toes in. And I think the safest way for a business to do it is to experiment with, POAP tokens, because that's kind of like low cost, no cost type of thing. There isn't any sort of exchange of money if you're just gifting someone a POAP, and it's quite a straightforward user experience for their type of audience and user base. And maybe we will see more of that type of use of NFTs through POAPs rather than probably NFT purchases via crypto. We don't know. Be interesting to see what happens there.
If I may add, I think from the perspective of concerts, well, first that comes to my mind was the Decentraland Music Festival. Ozzy Osbourne there, right? Like that was a big thing. But in terms of real life, I think it's more on the promotional community building side. Well, it's from the American market, but Snoop Dogg released their own NFT. Also on the Polish market, there is a rapper called Kurkon. He also launched his own NFT in which he was basically creating a community of very close fans that have early access to, well, his music tracks, a lot of merch, or different events that are organized just for them, like VIP meeting with the artist. So there are those things, or there are small NFT projects that are creating more of a lifestyle clubs. There are people that attend music events. This is for example, the NFT is called Cocky NFT. So they try to create a lifestyle club that's gathering people to go together to music events and have discounts on different events in different areas around Europe, well, actually around the whole world, but I think they're going to start somewhere. So I would say more community building rather than POAPs, but I find POAPs cool, which is the thing is, it's not many people even know what they are.